First off, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, or Kwakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well. Salutation to you, Akim, preaching this truth and sincerity, presenting your bodies as living sacrifice. I'm Mashiach from Children of the Light, back with another lesson, hoping I can edify. Just want to go ahead and just play this video for a moment since, World War III is on the tip of everybody's tongue, and this thing is getting closer and closer than it's ever been.
U.S. involvement in strikes on Iran, experts say.
You know what? Before I play this, let the spirit lead me. Let's jump around a little bit. Let's start with this scripture, and then I'll come back to it. Let's start with Jeremiah 50:45. And it'll make sense. I thought it'll make even more sense, brothers, after I play the video. This is Jeremiah 50:45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he hath taken against Babylon. And Babylon is today was spiritually, America is spiritually Babylon, Babylon the Great. And his purpose that he had proposed against the land of the Chaldeans, right? And, the Chaldeans were, Babylon, Babylonians, considered the wisest of all. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with whole. And who is the least of the flock, right? So that's going to be Amalek. And today, we're talking about the people that's over there in the land of Israel. They are the least of the flock. When you look into it, Israel is not even a country; it's a state. And so, what's the difference between a country and a state? A country is a self-governing political entity with internationally recognized borders, while a state can refer to a constituent part, I hope I said that right, constituent part of a larger country, like a U.S. state or a sovereign nation, depending on context. Right. So Israel, with all of this power and all this military might it has, it's not even a country when you compare it. It's a state that's and because it's attached to another land, right? It's a smaller strip, really, of the land that's out there. So let me see. I'll pull it up on the map. I want a world map. Let's say world map. All right, this looks good right here. Right. So when you talk about country, right, like Iran has clear international borders that are recognized, right, by the whole world. Now, when you see Israel, this little bitty chunk here that's attached to this larger mass, right? So this is a state. This is a state, right? This little right here, because it's not even the whole strip. It's this part right here, right? It's the state versus this country, right? And then when you look at the size of it and the makeup of it compared to the U.S., compared to Russia, compared to China, right? But let's keep it focused, right? In part of that beast system, when you look at it in comparison to America and Britain and France and all of these other places, that's a part of that beast system, right? It's the least, man, just geographically. And so now, how does it even have the power to, compete with a country this size, right? How does it even have the resources? So it's definitely the least of the flock in terms of the beast system, in terms of size, right? When we talk about land mass, right? All right. Right. So surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And we know right now with the conflict going on that Israel is going to force America to have to join in, right? Which is Babylon. The least of the flock is going to draw them out. It's going to draw out America to engage in this conflict, right? And that's going to cause the other superpowers, right? China, Russia, to to have to jump in, right? So that's when the once America gets involved, the candle is going to be fully lit, right? And that rocket is taking off. So let's go back to the video.
Say a massive bunker buster bomb is likely the only weapon capable of destroying a key Iranian nuclear facility. But as CNN's Brian Todd reports, even this massive bomb may not be able to penetrate Iran's Fordo fuel enrichment plant, which is carved into a mountain and extends deep underground.
17, but the bunker buster even heavier. Experts say the bunker buster has a thick, hard shell designed to withstand the impacts of the ground and plunge to the depths it needs to reach, with explosives in a fuse that also needs to be robust enough to penetrate the ground. The bunker buster doesn't have the biggest blast area.
So, right, we know that Israel planned to attack Iran because of its nuclear resources that was growing. And what they're saying is America needs to step in to drop this new bunker buster on a Iranian nuclear facility that's underground, that's under a mountain. And the only way that it could be done is with this new bunker buster missile that the U.S. has. So, again, we see that biblical prophecy jumping off the page, right? Because Israel is the least of the flock is drawing them out. Israel is drawing out Big Brother America to get engaged, right? And I mean, it's been building up for years. When we talked about the conflict that was going on in Gaza and Lebanon, right? With over the past 2 years or so, but now, Israel, is looking to take on a bigger foe, which is Iran. And so we see the least of the flock is going to draw America out if they choose to engage in this, right? What was I in Jeremiah? Yeah, I was in Jeremiah. Here we go. Okay, right. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right. So because when all of this happened, we're going to see a big escalation. Right. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. So, but from 50 and 45, I want to jump to Matthew 24:6, because this is about World War III kicking off, and Jeremiah 50 and 45 is right now is real heavy in play right now. So Matthew 24:6, right, and so we have the disciples asking Yahweh Shah, how do we know when the end will come? And so Yahweh Shah is going to say, jump to 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, which we've been hearing for years, right? So it's not just new, but this conflict, this key conflict, this key prophecy with the least of the flock drawing them out has been happening for years, because Israel been all over the place, been having beef with everybody, big and small, skinny and tall. He wants the smoke, right? And that's the Lord putting the spirit on these people who are not the people, who are not the chosen people, right? They, you know what I'm saying, the book. But the Lord is putting the spirit on these people to cause this tension, right? Because he has to do something big enough to get America, right, Big Brother Babylon the Great, to make a move against somebody big enough. They got another big brother, right? So got to figure out a way to get the family involved, and that's the Lord putting the spirit on these people to do it, man. But back to Matthew 24, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So all of this is just the beginning of it, right? And for all of Akims out there, in this thing of ours, man, make sure that you praying daily to Yahweh Bashem Yahusha, and ask that that the spirit, increases you and gives you the ability to endure these times and the times of Jacob's trouble, right? Because all of these things are just the beginning, right? In Matthew 24:7, for nation shall rise against nation, which we've been seeing for some time, right? To in the east over here, but even the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, because that's still happening, right? And then we still have America and China with their tariff war, right? So there's a lot of tension, and it's steadily building, right? Nothing is subsiding. 24:6-7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, right? Because even you see now, it's not just in America, but there's a migration war happening in the U.S. It's happening in Britain. It's happening in Ireland, right? So where you have an influx of Islamic people, right, really moving into these predominantly Christian areas, and now Islam is kind of taking over as the main religion. And so you can go look at it yourself, but if you go into some of the issues that's going on in the UK, pull up YouTube. Look up UK. Right, and you could go and do the research yourself. Man, type it in, because it's been a lot going on for a number of years, right? Where now they are actually having like the Islamic prayer go out throughout the whole state, right? Overseas and Britain, right? And the Christian people don't like that, because they like, how do we have Christian leaders and Christian monarchs and all of these, and somehow you have Muslim immigrants coming in and essentially imposing their traditions on these people. So that's building over there. And in America, you got ICE raids and attack on Northern Kingdom heavy, right? So there's problems happening on every scale. And there shall be famines and pestilence, which we've been seeing pestilence for a while. And as the war gets deeper, famine will come, and earthquake in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So, World War III, that third woe, is nearer than we believe, and is very, very possible. But all of these must happen. All of these prophecies have to happen before Yahweh Shah can return, and we usher in, the kingdom here on earth, right? Can't forget the MOTB, because that has to take place as well, and it will take place, right? Okay, so I want to go back to Jeremiah 50, right? So therefore, Jeremiah 50:45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purpose that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans, Babylon. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate. And from here, I'm going to jump up to 50:24, because this is important, right? This is Jeremiah 54. I have laid a snare for thee, right? And so Israel drawing America into this conflict, that's the Lord laying a snare for Babylon the Great to enter this thing, right? Going back into the video, right?
6,000 pounds of high explosives. The Israelis don't have them, nor the means to deliver them. Only the U.S. does, and there is no public record that they've ever been used in combat.
The United States has never encountered a target that required a bomb of this size. We have other very, very large bombs.
Right. So if America drops this bomb on Iran to destroy this underground nuclear facility, right? And mind you, America wouldn't have did this if, well, not directly, right? America would not have directly did this and took credit for it if it was not for the conflict that's been building between Israel and Iran over the course of the last week or so, right? But again, that's the Lord, right? Jeremiah 50 and 45, right? Using the least of the flock to draw them out. And that's him also laying that snare, right? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art taking it, and you have taken it, O Babylon, and thou was not aware, right? Thou art fine and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord, right? So, the Lord is laying a snare for Babylon the Great, and they gonna do it, unaware or not aware, they gonna do it. And what has Babylon the Great done against America? Man, destroyed his people utterly. Well, not utterly, but destroyed his people. You had Judah, Benjamin, Levite getting off them slave ships, right? You had Northern Kingdom, Issachar, and Gad being also persecuted over here, right? So the Lord is going to reward Babylon the Great for all the iniquity that it has done against his people, and He's going to do that, right? And 50 and 25, the Lord have opened His armory and have brought forth the weapons of His indignation, right? And His indignation is going to be the missiles, right? Because modern warfare is fought by intercontinental missiles. For this is the work of the Lord, Yahweh, God of hosts, in the land of Chaldeans. Right. So World War III, man, we getting there. We gonna get there because the Lord wants us to get there. It has to get there. Right. And then so from here, I'm gonna jump to Second Ezra, right? Because they over there playing games with them people, man. And this is what the scripture tells us. Start like 26 or something. Salakim. Damn, I was itching to say. All right. Second Ezra 15:29. Right, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. And the nations of Arabia, these are the nations of the east, right, shall come out with many chariots. What's the chariot? The modern day arrow is the missile. And I went through that in one of my other lessons, right? And the multitude of them, and these missiles, right, will be carried as the wind upon the earth, because modern day warfare is fought with intercontinental ballistics missiles. You can shoot missiles from one country to another and hit the target right in the ass, right? So they will be carried like the wind upon the earth, right? That all they which hear them may fear and tremble. And we've been seeing that, because after Israel launched their attack on Iran has been continuously sending bombs over here, and we've been seeing how many, they've been sending missiles from here to here, and we've been seeing the sheer number of missiles that continuously have been hitting this place. And there is all kind of footage which you can go and look up for yourself of people, in great fear, making great sounds of fear over here, right, for those missiles, when they are hitting. But Second Ezra 15 and 29 goes into, right, the dragon of Arabia. Let me go back to it. Right, the dragons of Arabia. So when we say the dragons of Arabia, we're talking about all of the nations of the east, right, in that eastern region. Let's look up, bro. No. Hope you all can see this. But yeah, when we talk about the dragons of the east, right? We have Iran, we have Iraq, we have Turkey, we have Syria, right? Uh, so and again, right? Ezekiel, the 38th chapter goes into this, right? Because you have Russia, Gog here, and it speaks of Russia gathering its bands, right? Which which does include Turkey as well, right? So when it stirs up the dragon of the east, these are the dragons of the east, right? But for now, but we're not there yet because we're here, but it's gonna get there, right? So Big Brother America takes that bait, right? It's only a matter of time before this guy gets involved and his bands get involved and their bands get involved and their bands get involved, right? But we are here. So, and this is where we are. Also, the Carmanians raging. Who are the Carmanians? The modern day Carmanians are the Iranians, right? Um, Also, the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as wild boars, and that's what's happening right now because of that assault that took place. Right? These are the Carmanians. And right now they are raging like wild boars because they've been sending missiles over here. And there's some reports saying that this Iron Dome cannot last, right? Because it's steady being bombarded. And we're seeing that some of their defense missiles are not even, some of their anti-defense missiles are not even protecting it, are already failing. So right now we already have this prophecy maybe or maybe not going into place, right? But these Carmanians are raging. Got a lot of tabs open. Raging and wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Just go back into, I'm all over the place. Where did I close that map? No, I didn't. Okay. All right. Yeah, so yeah, man, this thing is taking off, and we are seeing prophecy right now take place, and it is moving in a direction. But again, this is the spirit of the Lord that's drawing this up on these people to do this, right? Because eventually this is all going to take us to Joel 3, Joel the third chapter. Joel 3. Right, it's going to take us to Joel 3 and 2, to the valley of Yahweh. Right, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Yahweh, and I will plead with them. Let's look up that word, plead. Okay. Plead.
Strong's H8199. Shaphat. Shaphat.
Right. So the word plead means to judge, govern, vindicate, punish. Let's look at what vindicate means. Let's go into vindicate. Clear someone of blame or suspicion. Right. And again, and the Lord has blamed them because these people have all taken part in spoiling of the Lord's people, right? As well, that crafty counsel as well. Right. So I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Yahweh, and I will judge, right? Plead, judge, punish, vindicate with them there for my people, as I said, and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my lands. So all of this is going to happen, right? Go back to Jeremiah 50 and 24. The Lord has laid a snare for Babylon the Great, man, right? But also, the least of the flock it's drawing it out, man. At this point, because it's gonna, it's gonna escalate all of the conflicts in the East, man. And so again, that it's the Lord putting the spirit on these people to do it, to move everything, and just like it talks about in Ezekiel 38 and 39, right? Gog and Magog gathering their bands, right? And they're all going to be gathering in the east, right? In the valley of Yahweh Shaphat to wage war. And so, I'm just going to end it on there. Hopefully someone was edified. Until next time, shalom, 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 Kwam Yasharallah.